Hey there. Hey guys. Remember me? Did I tell you I went on vacation for a little bit?
No, where'd you go?
Well, no, come on, I didn't go anywhere. Let's be serious. I never go anywhere. No, vacation as in I took a break from the show. I went, for those, I know you guys can't see it, but he just made a face like, no, you didn't.
What?
That's insanity.
You've been going strong since you left the car dealership, like every day, hardcore, working hard every day. So you tell me that, and that's a super shock.
Well, it wasn't, I mean, it's what other people probably wouldn't consider a vacation. I worked Monday, Tuesday of last week, so I took off Wednesday, which is the day before Thanksgiving. I took off Thursday, obviously, for Thanksgiving, Friday as well. So it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and today's Sunday. So it was basically like a 4-day, but it's kind of like a 5-day vacation because now we're doing the podcast.
Well, now that you're explaining it to me is like, I forgot it was Thanksgiving, and I forgot that every other normal person that you ask is like, I took Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. I
needed it, man. I used to be able to do like my normal 5 days, ridiculous hours from 9 o'clock in the morning till like 12 o'clock at night, and then plus another like 6 or 7 hours on Saturday. It got to the point where the Sundays weren't recharging me. Like I used to be able to relax on Sunday and get totally recharged and could face the week no problem. Yeah. But it got to the point where my battery would go from like 10% on Sunday, and I'd recharge to like 65%, and I'd have to go into the week at 65%, and that shit would drain out by like Wednesday. I'm like,
it's sort of like the iPhone. Like if you keep it charged in too much, then the battery starts to die OD quick.
If that's true, that explains why my iPhone sucks.
Yeah,
because I never thought of that before. But my battery
like if you leave it charged all the time, then it starts to die more. But like if you let the battery die out once in a while and then charge the shit out of it, then it will continue to work perfectly. Refresh, and then you could keep it charged for longer.
Big of an idiot I am. I bet you everybody knew that but me.
Oh yeah, I heard it somewhere.
I've heard that too about the way batteries work. Also, when batteries get down to like 20% or 10%, they drain much quicker than like from 100% to 80%, even though it's 20%.
That's
both
also
times.
When you're going hardest on your battery because you're like, I got to get this like one last UJs in real quick.
Very rarely anymore do I use my phone to beat off. Probably because
I was
gonna say because I'm not in public. But then again, when am I ever beating off in public? Hey John, I'm at the deli. Hey John, can I get a ham sandwich?
What are you checking the sports scores down there? No.
Nope, just jerking off. What's your favorite site, Johnny? So there's a lot of stuff since I've been off the air for so long. There's so much stuff I want to get to, man. I know you and I were bouncing some ideas back and forth. So let me start with some. I don't know if you had any like Thanksgiving debates or discussions or anything, but I had my family overwhelmingly is
and they're going to ask you tons of questions too because they know you do the show probably.
Well, they don't really care about that anymore. They know that I'm doing like back when I wasn't doing well with the show. They'd be like, "So how's it going?" Doing an internet show. That's so stupid. But then as soon as I got successful, now nobody cares. Yeah. Now nobody's like, "Oh, hey man, it's going good, right? Yeah. You're doing well. That's great." No, when I started doing well, then everybody shuts up. So that's how my family works. They're way too conservative. Like my mother, she was raised in a Republican family, and she was somewhat Republican most of her life. But then when I hit an age where I knew about politics and I learned about stuff and like I cared and we spoke about it, it's fair to say I think she's no longer a Republican. She wouldn't tell the rest of her family, but there's no way. I know, for instance, she voted for Obama the first time. She didn't vote for McCain and Palin. She was like, that's insanity. Why would I ever do that?
You think you swayed her?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Because you can't. First of all, what we need to understand is that even for women in particular, like if you're a woman or if you're a minority, to vote for a Republican is like, you almost know that you're fucking yourself over if you do that. So even if you were raised in that setting being super Republican and all that stuff, after a while it's just like, I can't do it anymore. I mean, look at these people. They're just massive jokes. Yeah. So my mom is somewhat on my side. Then there's one aunt I have who's on my side who's just a flat out liberal. But outside of that, and like some of the cousins they're more independent-y, but they're somewhat more libertarian-ish, not really liberal, so they're fiscal conservatives, but social liberals. So it's like a mix there. But overall, like the rest of the family is pretty conservative, pretty Republican. And some of them are just, forget it. As Jon Stewart said when he was talking to Howard Stern, he was like, my family's so conservative, they make Bill O'Reilly look like gay Ralph Nader. Like, that's how one of my uncles is and everything.
Oh, really?
So we got into, like, obviously Mike Brown came up, and I didn't even entertain the conversation, because to me, they're not even honest. Like, they're not honest actors in the conversation. They went into the situation going, how can I blame the dead black kid, and how can I say the cop is good because law and order or something, you know what I mean? But then meanwhile, if you talk to them about the Clive and Bundy situation, where it was the law versus this rancher who didn't pay his taxes, then all of a sudden they change their mind, and it's, the law is, oh my God, government overstepping their bounds. So they're massive hypocrites, and they're not serious people on that issue. So I didn't even bother to, like, get into it with them.
That was smart of you.
Yeah, I couldn't because I was going to drive myself crazy listening to people who don't give a shit about dead black kids, when you and I both know if it was a dead white kid, and if the guy's name was Chaddington P. Rockefeller, they'd be like, oh, this outrage of a young dead kid. But if it's a black kid, fuck it, who cares?
Well, that's what it's smart you didn't get into that debate, because I feel like liberals at least will pretend and will try to hear their side of it, in a way, even though we know they're completely idiotic and wrong, but we'll, like, at least try and sympathize with them because we feel they're really stupid. Whereas when they argue, it's just automatically like, I'm right, and if you're trying to tell them something, and you're, like, passionate about what you're talking about, they're just automatically dismissing it. It's like they don't even pretend to listen to what you're saying.
What they're doing
That's the
is
between us.
They're waiting to talk as opposed to having a conversation.
Yeah,
there's a big difference between those things.
Yeah.
So I didn't really talk about that, but then later on during the occasion. A conversation got brought up. First of all, I hate it when a conversation comes up and you don't even know how you got there.
Yeah.
How, like, it just happens and you're like, why am I talking about this? And you don't know the progression.
Yeah.
So one of the things was euthanasia. I guess we'll get into it now since we already started here. One of the things is euthanasia. So Brittany Maynard, who's the woman who had terminal brain cancer, 29 years old, I believe, and she moved from California to Oregon so that she could have the right to die with dignity, because her doctors told her for the specific kind of brain cancer you have, it's going to get very painful. It's going to get very painful.
She had, like, this was the girl who had, like, the set date of when she was going to die.
Right.
Okay.
So in California, the laws were not in her favor where she could have chosen when to die. So she moved to Oregon to have that right. So she did that, and then she also did these things where she advocated for her position, and she said, look, this is the basic thing that we need to do for human dignity, because if anybody's in my circumstance where they're going to be in an incredible amount of pain, of course they want to have the right to end it when it gets too painful. Like, that's just basic humanity and morality and ethics.
Yeah.
So one member of my family, I won't give too much detail as to who it is, apparently I'm giving away the gender, though, she said to me, again, I don't know how this came up, but she's like, well, with that girl who just did the thing where she killed herself, I don't agree with that. And automatically I'm like, I already don't want to have the conversation because it's like, who cares what you believe? Like, it's not about you. It's not about what I believe. It's not about what anybody believes. Isn't it about what she believes and the kind of life she wants to live and what she wants to do? Yeah. So then she goes off on this thing like, well, it didn't seem like she had to do it at that point in time. Again, I'm like, how do you know? What the fuck? Do you have, like, some sort of brain scan? You could read her mind? What are you talking about? Then she goes on to explain, well, there was somebody in my family who, when they got to the end, we basically said to the nurses, like, okay, like, you can end it now because there's too much pain. And we're all looking around like, so you just contradicted yourself. So you're saying you are in favor of it.
Yeah.
She's like, no, but in our case, it was different because the person was in so much pain that they were at the end of their life and they were, like, shaking and seizing all the time. And then somebody else chimed in and said, yeah, but your argument is, so if they have, like, a week to live, it's okay, they could do it. But if they have 2 months to live, they can't do it. And you want to be the judge.
So if they're in, like, regular pain, no, it's okay. You got to be in, like, severe pain, and you got to feel it for a little bit before you can kill yourself.
Exactly. That's basically her argument, is like, wait until you're in so much pain that it's like, I just literally can't do it anymore. And we're all looking at each other, everybody who's not her, and we're like, but the bottom line is you want to be the ultimate arbiter and the judge of when people get to make this decision.
Yeah, you can tell how much pain a person is in. Like, I could be in complete
arrogance.
pain, but
how arrogant is it? It's so arrogant. It's just like, let me decide. Then, I finally have enough, and I chime in, and I'm like, look, why is it not the default position that we believe in freedom, that each person gets to choose whatever they want to do with their own life. Like, to me, there needs to be a super convincing argument against that in order for that to become the law. Mm-hmm. And then she, of course, and by the way, this person is super religious. She's like, well, according to God, it's not a good thing to do that. Now, right there, it's like you just threw a grenade into the middle of the conversation and it blew up.
A grenade full of just duty.
Yeah, you ended the conversation without providing a rational argument or point. You just said, I'm just going to do this.
I'm going to drop the God card.
Right. I'm just going to throw that out there. Like, and now anytime you say anything, you're being anti-religious. Yeah. You're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, but thankfully, since I do this stuff for a living, I had a good response to that. I'm like, no. Our position is, if you choose to live by those religious values, you can. If you're in a lot of pain and you don't want to die, by all means, you could live by those religious values. But don't put that on somebody like me who's non-religious, who I know when I'm in certain circumstances, if I have a terminal illness, if I'm in a lot of pain, I want to make the decision to end my own life.
Yeah.
And her response was, well, no, why do we have to have the laws your way and not the laws my way? And I say, because it's not my way. My way is allowing anybody to do whatever they want to do with their own life. Yours is you have to do it my way or the highway.
Yeah, so if she had the decision to be in pain, stay for as long as you want in pain and then decide when you want.
Exactly.
But if I'm in pain, I'll go.
And then the argument became, it went from that, focus on physician-assisted suicide, euthanasia, and then it became, well, I feel bad for you. She said that to me. And also to somebody else in the room who's fairly non-religious like me. I feel bad for you. I'm like, why? You don't have to feel bad. I'm perfectly fine. Like, what does that even mean? Well, I feel bad for you because I have something you don't have.
Like, I've God.
Exactly. She's like, it's faith. See, I know that when I'm gone, I'm going to meet up. My soul is going to continue. I'm going to meet up with the people that, I want to see in the afterlife or whatever. And I'm like, nobody knows, okay?
It's so sad because if there's anybody to feel bad for, it's her.
Bingo. See, you got to the point that I was going to get to, which is that there's nothing more honest intellectually than saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
And any honest atheist is also an agnostic, because one question is what you believe versus what you know. In terms of what I believe, yes, I believe there's no God. I don't act as if there's a God on a daily basis. That's my active belief. In terms of what I know, I don't know. Nobody knows. That's what I say. That's what a majority of atheists say. Mm-hmm. So there's no more intellectually honest position than saying, I don't know. But she finds a way to flip it as if I'm the arrogant one for admitting humility in the face of this unknown and saying, I don't know. I'm somehow the arrogant one, and she's the one who's just grounded and realistic in knowing that there's a God and knowing that. And it's like the whole conversation was useless and pointless and worthless.
Yeah.
Because what she essentially was doing was dressing up her beliefs and her ideology as the common sense position, and if you disagree with me, oh, you are arrogant. When again, remember, let's review here. What did we say about euthanasia? Your choice. It's your choice. You get to choose if you're in too much pain, whatever. That's your choice to make. None of my business, right? Yeah. That's humility from us to say that. To say you get to make your own decision. And on the God question, again, humility to say, I don't know. But somehow we are the assholes, and she's the, common sense, tell it like it is person. And therein lies
let's put it in this. If she was on her deathbed and they just called a random person into the room and they were just like, hey, you, decide if she's in pain, if she should die or not. What's your decision? Yes or no? Yeah. And then she'll just be like, wait. You can't decide for me.
And then
I make the decision.
Somebody also made the great point that so she's like, well, God chooses when you go, you can't decide. And it's like, well, okay, then after you get into a car accident, no morphine for you, no surgery for you, because that's not an act of God, that's an act of man that's fixing you.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, that's not the same. Well, why is it not the same? There's nothing. See, this is why I've never been a huge fan of the holidays. You know how so many people love the holidays?
Yeah.
I've never really been a huge fan. And look, don't get me wrong, my family means well, but you could tell that many people in my family, just from a young age, they were just brainwashed into, Republican ideology and religious ideology. And it's just like, oh, so you just adopted this thing that was put on you by your parents, and your goal, you think, is to defend it.
Yep.
Like, that's your goal. And if anybody disagrees with you, they're attacking your way of life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It just
so
shows
they don't
how
care.
strong religion is, that
Right, and brainwashing and culture and all that stuff. And it's just, the reason why I don't like it is because, again, I don't feel like I'm dealing with honest actors. I don't feel like I'm dealing with somebody who really has sat down, thought out the positions, used their mind. They're deferring to learned ideology from their childhood, from their parents, from their culture. And it's not...
They're just saying recycled things that they've heard. Yeah, like
exactly.
Said,
yeah, and I can't take that, man. That's the thing. Like,
well, there's some things that there's just not an answer to, and some people just don't want to believe that, you know? Whereas you could say, I don't know the answer to that question. Other people are just like, no, there has to be an answer. They need something, yeah. There's got to be an answer. Like,
not only that there's got to be an answer, but that they know it right now. They can't deal with that cognitive dissonance of like, well, if we're being honest, we don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or let's try and come to an answer together and let's figure it out.
And look, you know what? That's fine. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but the problem becomes when they try to base policy off of it. And she clearly was saying, hey, on this issue of physician-assisted suicide, we're going to base policy off of it, and it's going to be my idea of what I think God believes.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, it's terrible. Anyway, so there was just one story. There were many debates and stuff from Thanksgiving. I don't want to get into the rest of them, though. All of them followed that same basic
Well, that's why I like
path.
My family, because at Thanksgiving we just chase a baby around and just talk about, like, duty and sports. And
See, I was
nothing
talking...
gets political, because I wouldn't let it get there, because it's just like, I mean, obviously it does get there in most households, but I feel like at some points you got, like you do, you don't even get into debate sometimes because it's just like,
dude,
it's not worth it.
People just assume I want to get into debates because I do this for a living.
Yeah.
But you got to understand something, and I know this sounds super douchey and super arrogant. I like to have conversations on serious issues with people who are serious people who study these issues. Mm-hmm. Like I invited Reza Aslan on the show. He's a religious scholar, and he considers himself a Muslim, but he's a really smart guy. I want to talk to him about that. Mm-hmm. You know, we had on Cenk to discuss Islamophobia. We had on Ed Schultz to discuss foreign policy in Syria. Like, okay, I can have, even if I disagree with people, which I often do, I can have a serious conversation with them and a real conversation with them if I think they're genuine, and even if I disagree with them, if I think they're genuine, if I think they're fair, if I think they're smart, I'll talk to them. Dealing with, picking out some like Sean Hannity devotee and having a conversation with them, it's not real. You're not getting anywhere.
Well, that's what Stephen A. Smith said. He was just like, when I'm walking on the street, like, don't come up to me and just be like, yo, Mello sucks.
Yeah.
Because there's just no, like, there's no base, like, there's no substance in that. You know, like, I'm sure if someone wants to come to you with an argument that has some substance and they're backing it with something, you'll entertain it and you'll debate them about it. But if someone's just like, well, you're an idiot, you don't believe in God? Yeah. And then it's just like dismiss you because obviously you're an idiot and you're just throwing out some shit.
And also, right, and keep it real, I have a degree in political science.
Yeah.
I have some idea of what the fuck I'm talking about since I talk about it 2 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Since the fetus. But, a lot of other people, they just, they're armchair pontificators. I watched 37 minutes of Fox News today, so I know everything, and I'm going to condescendingly tell you you're wrong. It's just, it's absurd. And also, I was talking to my friend Alan, who I used to work at the car dealership with, and he's black, so I was saying to him, like, I wish I was at your Thanksgiving. Yeah. Because he was telling me, like, no, yeah, my family events, we don't really get into politics much, but when we do, everybody's like, that's right. Like, somebody will say something, and it's just like, good point. And then they add on it. Yeah, they add on it. Yeah. Whereas, if you deal with... And again, look, I love my family. They mean well. In terms of, like, how they act, doing the right thing on a personal level, Yeah. Like, if somebody in the family's in trouble, are you kidding me? You know how quickly any of my uncles, any of my aunts would give whatever amount of money, whatever amount of help, whatever amount of time to anybody in the family, even if there's somebody who's deemed as like myself, I'm kind of a black sheep in the family. Same with my sister a little bit. But they would still, no matter what, they'd be like, okay, we're going to help you because we think that's the right thing to do. Yeah. So there's definitely good aspects to them for sure, but it's just this religious, political veil that they've wrapped themselves in about these are our beliefs, this is what it is, and they're totally inflexible in that, and they're totally dogmatic in that to the point where it's beyond frustrating.
Yeah, it sucks.
So, all right, that deals with that. There's so many other things that I wanted to get to, man. Let's get to. We're going to talk about J.R. Smith in a little bit. Remember that when So there's this thing. We'll hold off on this, but J.R. Smith, Knicks guard. I didn't know about this. Corin didn't know about this until recently. Got into a car accident. He was driving. One of his best friends died, and we'll get into what the punishment was and all that stuff. But first, there's this other thing that I wanted to talk about. This was number one on my mind the entire time I was on break. I saw some clip, like a local news clip, and that led me to go online and look at more local news clips. And there's no better evidence that people are sheep, other than Nazi Germany maybe, but that people are sheep than local news. Because
they're bad.
It doesn't matter where you look at it. You could look at one in Atlanta. You could look at one in Cleveland. You could look at ones here in Westchester, New York. You could look at ones in California. Doesn't matter where you are. They are all cut from the exact same mold.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. It's not like they each came to that mold independently, where they each decided, this is how I'm going to talk, this is how I'm going to act. They obviously looked at the other local news anchors that came before them, and then they put on this insane bravado show. And the thing that's so annoying about that in particular is they think it's convincing, in the sense that they think this is who you think they really are.
I know.
And you know what I'm talking. It's the posture. You know, they get into a certain pose.
Like, guy.
All right, Jeff. So anyway, tell me about the weather on Thursday. Yeah. That's a good one, Timmy. Look at the board over
they
here.
Act like they're the best of friends off air, but meanwhile, when they end that set, they're probably just, fuck this. I gotta get home.
Exactly. But how do they think that's appealing? I don't know how they could possibly twist their mind into believing that, like, somebody's sitting at work, it's 5 o'clock, they're about to leave, and they're like, I gotta rush home to watch the 6 o'clock news for generic anchor John Anderson. Like, nobody has ever said that in human history, because John Anderson is a douche who's copying everybody who ever came before him and has never had an interesting original thought, always walks on this PC line where you can never say anything that's somewhat interesting. And it's just, all of it is so bad. The entire industry is a fraud. It's a sham. It's going to collapse.
Yeah, well, they need ratings, and they try to do what they think will grab your attention. So I remember I saw it was in... well, it was going around the internet. It was on BuzzFeed too. There was like a white anchor and a black like girl anchor, and the white anchor, like, they had music on, and he was just doing like your corny like dance moves, like to, I forgot what song. It might have been like a Nicki Minaj song or something, and it got like hundreds of thousands of hit, and it was just like corny white anchor dances to song like on set, and I was just like, it just looks so sad. Like,
that may be the most interesting thing they've ever done, though.
Yeah,
but it slightly broke free from the mold of generic.
But I think it was more in the mold, because it was just like be cornier.
Be the corny white guy.
Be the corny white guy, and like even like the
was
black
that
girl
staged?
On set,
Do you think, or no?
I think so, because like even the like girl on set was just like, yeah, this is even a little bit like bad. Like I sort of like am mad at myself for being in this situation.
That's interesting. See,
and it got a lot of ratings,
and
the show probably sucked. But it fit more into that mold of like just be even cornier over the top, like similar to like a radio station, how they have like
the DJ,
generic, like DJ, just like
all right, top 40 today, and blah, blah,
we're going to the frat boy now.
Oh, the frat boy!
And he's like, guys, I'm at the gig right now.
Kazoo noises in the background and shit, bell noises, ding 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 ding.
Yeah, and all that shit. Immediately when I have it on the radio or when I have it on the TV, I'm just like, I gotta change this shit.
But see, that's the thing. I think you're right, and it's gotten to the point where a majority of people agree with you. Maybe in 1986 they didn't. Maybe in 1986 people were like, "Oh, he's wacky."
Like on some
you know what I mean?
World type
exactly. But today people hear that and they go, "This is the fakest shit I've ever heard in my life."
But the sad thing is, on TV, there's nothing really else to change it to, because you go to like, I know there's one station here in New York, Channel 5, and my mom loves it because they keep it real. You know, like. They'll play DMX in the back of their. It's
really
yeah, like
I didn't know about this.
The police department's guy's son is like the anchor. Kelly,
I have no idea.
Something Kelly, Greg Kelly maybe, and
Ray Kelly.
Ray Kelly is the commissioner, and his son is Greg Kelly.
R. Kelly.
Yeah, R. Kelly. And they sort of keep it real. Like they'll just like talk to people.
I didn't know that.
Like,
I didn't know there was a local news thing that ever kept it real in human history.
like he keeps it real in a way, and then like the other stations are just so corny that like I'm like, all right, I got to watch Channel 5 because they keep it real.
You know what else this reminds me of? Models' faces.
Yeah.
Supermodels, when they make the faces in the ads and stuff. Like, I look at them. See, this is the thing. We all of us know with 100% certainty that they think they are fucking nailing it when they make that face. When they make the face
Zoolander
of like
face.
the face of like, yeah, you want to fuck me, don't you? It's the face of like, come fuck me. But I got news for every single model who's ever made that face. You're a clown. You're a joke. I don't want to fuck you. I think you're a silly human being. Yeah. Because whenever I see, inevitably now, whenever I see somebody making that face, a model making that face, you know what I think of? That model took a massive shit within the past 4 or 5 days.
It's like
and
the
when they're sitting
face,
on the toilet,
exactly,
you're sitting like you're a normal person, dude. You're a normal person. You know what you do? You wake up, you eat some bacon and eggs. You fucking, or maybe not them. They eat you know,
tissue.
Right? Whatever the tiniest thing in the world is, a breadcrumb and a half. Okay, so they wake up, they do that stuff. You go through your day. You have friends. Sometimes you're happy. Sometimes you're sad. Yeah. Whatever. You go to work. You have this fucking model shoot. Don't give me that bullshit. The bullshit of the fake face. You know when when a woman looks sexiest? When she's not fucking trying to look sexy. Yeah. I'm not saying, hey, you roll out of your bed and you look like a hot mess. Well, like I'm not necessarily saying that.
Sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no makeup on. That's when you're the prettiest.
Yeah, that, or even if it's, hey, it's a normal day, I'm going out to work, I'll put on a little bit of makeup or something, and then you go about your day, and you know, some dude catches a glimpse of you when you're in the middle of working on some sort of report, sitting at your desk writing something, the way your hair is sitting, the way the light shines off you, oh my God, she looks so beautiful right now. That's what, it's never the fucking fake-ass face and the, oh, don't you want to fuck me? Aren't I so fuckable? Please, want to fuck me. I don't want to fuck you. You look stupid. You look silly. Get that stupid ass fake face off of your. I don't know why you're making that face. I don't know who decided at one point in their life this is going to be the sexy face. No, it's not. It's the face that makes everybody go, oh, you're a normal person, but you're trying to be sexy. And you know who does this face a lot? And I'm going to get a lot of hate over this because this person is beloved by the internet times a trillion. Beyonce. Beyonce, she has a gorgeous body. She's a beautiful person. Yeah. But when she makes that fucking face, I'm like, stop it, Beyonce. Yeah. You're trying to take your sexiness and crank it up times a million. But when you do that, you actually devalue your sexiness because what you're showing the world is your character. Mm-hmm. You're saying, this is what I'm focused on. This is my concern.
And this is what you
this is my
want
issue.
Me to be.
Right. I'm going to be this super sexy mold of a person that you want me to be. I'm not going to be myself. I'm not going to be original. I'm going to put on this fake-ass face, and I'm going to stand there in a way to look at you and go, oh, don't you want to fuck me?
Well, that's why people are so into, like, Jennifer Garner and all these, like, rebel, like, character girls because they just go out and they just make
Kate
a regular...
Upton, too.
Yeah,
Kate Upton's like a normal body, like a good-looking normal body, and it's like, I bet you all the supermodels are like, fuck her. What's, like, why do you guys not like my 12-year-old boy body?
Like glamorizes that like model face shit. So whenever you watch like a Victoria's Secret fashion model or show or like Miss America, they all have that face on, and like every time they come out, the judges or like commentators like beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But like sometimes they come out, and I'll like say to my brother some shit, and I'm just like, she doesn't look that good. Like she doesn't look that good.
But they're reinforcing that exactly.
She looks good. So it's like, am I the oddball saying she doesn't look good?
No, you're not. You're definitely.
That's the thing. If one girl just came out and just kept it 100 with like a swag like Puerto Rican girl face and was just like, yo, what's up? Yeah, I'm walking on the runway. Sexy as fuck. I'll be like, yo, she's
just a normal girl. Be like,
oh, God, her face is all torn up right now.
Like,
what is she doing?
Guys like girls. Broadly speaking, of course, there's bisexual people, there's gay people, yada, yada. But if you're a straight guy and you like girls, it's a fact that a majority of the time you're going to like a fairly normal body shape. Yeah. You're going to like some hips, some breasts. You don't need to have a perfectly flat stomach. Yeah. Just a regular person, you know? Like, you don't need to make yourself this extreme and portray that as the ideal. Yeah. Like, it's not the ideal. You can try to make it the ideal for specific cultures, for a supermodel culture, for whatever, but you're making that up is my point. Yeah. It doesn't innately fit with what we are. You're adding that to what we are, and you're pretending like that's some sort of divine, this is what the right thing is. No, it's not. You just made it up.
And there isn't, like, it's like also like a turn on too. Like if you go out to eat with like a whole group of girls and like, all the girls like, oh no, I can't eat those ribs, I can't eat those fries, or whatever. And you see one girl just like, fuck it, I'll get down on that shit.
Yeah, I'll
and,
be
like,
a normal
just going
person.
To town and like, I'm like, damn, that's what's up. Like,
yeah, you're a normal person.
Yeah.
I could probably have a conversation with you about something, and I'm not going to get some cookie cutter answer of what you think you should say in said circumstance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of implications to how far that reaches in terms of the look, the attitude that comes with it, all that stuff.
And that goes back to the TV show and the radio DJ like point. Whereas if you're just a radio DJ keeping it 100,
right,
and not like, oh, this is Bob in the morning with wacky waggle waggle waggle.
Cenk talks about this all the time, man. Cenk talks about how eventually old media, CNN, the nightly news, all of them. The internet is already like overtaking them.
Yeah.
We're surging so fast that there's no stopping it. There's obviously a gigantic change going on right now. He says eventually they're going to come to us and just be like, how the fuck did you do it? Because they're going to want to copy it, because that's what they do. They're a business made on copying.
Yep.
Oh, what worked? Now let's copy that thing. But the problem with that is, then that doesn't allow for innovation. That doesn't allow for something better to come along. Like Tiger Woods didn't come along and say, let me copy Jack Nicklaus. He said, I want to be better than Jack Nicklaus. So he has his own swing, and he worked on it on his own. And the main point is be genuine. That's it. Like, you could have a show that's genuine. You could be a person that's genuine talking about politics and be the exact opposite of me. Like Noam Chomsky's a perfect example. In fact, I was listening to him earlier before you came, and the dude is flat out monotone. Like, everything he says is, well, let me talk about this and that, but you would think, somebody would think, looking at it, oh, well, obviously he's not going to gain many followers because he's not. There's no spark there. He's just talking in a monotone voice.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, the guy's got millions of followers around the world. Why? Because he's genuine. He actually is a monotone person, but he's actually telling you what he believes in his monotone voice.
Yeah.
So people gravitate towards it. It's the old saying, real recognize real. People, okay, and there's a lot more real people out there than are given credit for.
Yeah.
Like the establishment and the elite and the powers that be like to think, well, we could just, drag around Americans by the nose forever. No, you can't. I mean, it could work for a while. Manufacturing consent, the idea of manufacturing consent, again, it's a Chomsky idea that you can make people think this is what you want to care about. But when they're given the option of something real and genuine, whether it's a better radio DJ, a better local news show, a better just news presentation in terms of new media versus old media, they go, I like that. I want to watch that more. How can I contribute? How can I help? Et cetera, et cetera. When was the last time anybody got excited over a local news anchor? Oh my God, this guy is so great. I have to donate. I have to follow this person. What's his Twitter, please? They don't do that. Why? Because they know what they're going to get if they follow him on Twitter.
Some corny ass.
All right, Ted, the weather today is... Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Sad.
Yeah. All right, you want to get into... Let's get into JR now.
All right, cool.
So, J.R. Smith, shooting guard for the Knicks. I didn't know about this. Corin didn't know about this until recently. He had a car accident when he was young. How old was he, Cor? Probably 18, 19, something like that?
Yeah,
maybe?
I mean, he was young. Yeah, he was still in the league.
So, his close friend died in it. He was driving the car. His close friend died. And his punishment was 30 days.
Ran a stop sign. I think
he ran a stop sign?
Yeah, I think that's what the article
was
said.
he drunk or anything?
I don't think he was drunk.
Or the article didn't mention it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he just ran a stop sign, got into a major car accident.
And his friend died.
And
another friend got injured but is okay. And he was injured but is okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So... he went to court, went to jail for 30 days for this. I don't remember the technical. Was it some very low form of manslaughter that he got?
I don't know.
Or was it something else completely?
I read the article.
Just know there was 30 days in jail is what he got. So there's the question. Do you think that punishment is too strong, too light, not enough? Why not?
I think if it was anybody else, I think the punishment would have been harder.
But because he's an NBA star.
Because he's an NBA star.
He got less.
And, I mean, that happens all the time in sports.
It happens all the time with rich people and rich people. Celebrities, etc.
Yeah, I just think with his circumstances, he got an easy deal. He actually was the main reason as to why someone died. And for that, that's a big deal. Like, you caused someone's death. And whether or not it was an accident or not, like, you were the main contributor as to why someone died. And you got to do some time for that. And 30 days, can you really, is that really enough time to figure out what you did was wrong?
I think you definitely have a point about the whole NBA aspect of it, that since he was an NBA star or whatever, maybe it's just allowed him to get better representation in court or whatever. But yeah, it's true that NBA players and rich people or celebrities always have a chance of getting out more. But I've always been on the question of manslaughter, which is what we're talking about here. I've never had... I have a lot of strong feelings about many things. I've never had a strong feeling on manslaughter one way or the other. In fact, this is another issue I'm 50-50 on, and I'll tell you why. because it all comes down to how do you assess the proper punishment for a crime? Do you simply base it off of the effect on the victim, which in this case is the effect on the victim was death. Mm-hmm. So if you base it off of that, there's almost no punishment that's not strong enough. Like there, you could justify a lot of stuff if you base it off of that. But on the flip side, it's, do you also weigh into consideration the intent of the person involved in it? So I don't think JR's intent rather clearly wasn't for his friend to die. It just happened. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So therein lies the question of, what do you do? And I know there's all different levels of manslaughter, and like some you're more culpable or whatever the word is than others.
Yeah.
But I never know what to do. I never know what that line is, because it almost seems like in some cases we're inclined to want to punish harder simply by virtue of what happened to the victim. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then on the other hand, if it really is, if you could prove it's an accident, like there's an argument maybe from some people that there should be no punishment at all because it was just an accident. It's like if me and you were driving somewhere.
Yeah, but running a stop sign's not an accident. You.
So he did that on purpose? It's fairly well established he did that on purpose?
Oh, okay, so maybe, he just didn't see the stop sign or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm posing that question. But like if me and you were driving somewhere, let's say me and you were driving to Henry's house, our friend's house, right? You're driving, and some crazy person comes flying off of a side street, side hits your car, it's on my end, I die, you live. If I was dead and, would I want you to go to jail because of an accident that involved... I wouldn't want your life to be ruined because I died. And, you were driving the car, but it's totally an accident because you didn't know about that motherfucker going down the street super fast.
Yeah, you're right. The other guy could have been speeding through the intersection.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's such a hard question because if you assess that crime, the one I just described, the made-up one, if you assess that based on the damage to the victim being me and I'm dead in that case, then you could go to jail for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years for life, you know?
Yeah.
But if you assess it based on the intent of you involved in it driving, there was clearly not a shred of malintent. You didn't want to damage me in any way, shape, or form. It just happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what do you do? In that case, you just say, okay, you're free to go. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this question.
I think I'm swaying more towards the maybe lesser is better, because I feel like with less, I think he'll come to the realization on his own, like, I just lost my best friend in a car accident, Next time I get in the car, I got to be careful. Whereas, like, if you put him in jail for 15 years, he's going to be like, fuck the system, fuck the law.
Right.
I'm still going to go out and speed because this is just stupid that I got 15 years. Where it's like, you got 30 days, come to the realization on your own that you just, ran the stop sign, regardless of what happened. If someone else was going fast, your friend died. Next time you drive a car, you got to be cautious,
Yeah. Not only that, but I remember seeing Michael Moore did this thing where he went to, like, Scandinavian jails. Mm-hmm. And he spoke to the people in there. They have such light sentences in Scandinavia. Yeah. It's like, whoa, like it's like a different world.
Yeah.
And he spoke to one of them, and they could like go in and out of their house and stuff whenever they want. And he's talking to them, and he's like, you have so much freedom. How can you ever be rehabilitated here? And the guy said something really interesting. He said, at the end of the day, I always know this is a jail. So in other words, you don't need to like fucking whip me and lock me up in order for me to get that something happened and I'm in jail. I know I'm in jail.
Yeah.
I get it. That's where I am. So I'm feeling that and I'm adjusting accordingly regardless of the fact that, I have this super harsh punishment or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a better argument for rehabilitation as opposed to punishment. And what you just described, somebody understanding on their own and getting to that point on their own as opposed to...
Don't get me wrong. There's going to be criminals out there that kill people, like, just because they're crazy and they're bad people.
Right.
But there's also situations where J.R. Smith or like there was a guy on the Cowboys who, same situation, killed his friend while he was drunk driving.
See, now that's slightly different.
Yeah,
right.
That's
like
different,
that, and that's why there's different levels of manslaughter,
yeah.
right? Because one is just a pure accident. The guy JR had no idea, assuming he wasn't under any substances, whatever, and assuming he didn't see the stop sign, or whatever. And another one is you're slightly more, responsible for it because you were drunk. If you weren't drunk, maybe it wouldn't have happened. So there's different levels of manslaughter too. But my point is, I still don't know, even with the different levels, what's appropriate, because you would feel like if it's somebody close to you, somebody you'd want to say be more lenient. But if it's somebody who you don't know, and let's say the way the said person died was totally grotesque, like, I don't know, a factory accident where somebody was in molten lava and was crushed or some shit. Like, if you look at that, you're like, okay, no, I want that guy locked up for like 20 years because of how it happened. You know what I mean?
Well, you would like to hope that the punishment would be a little more severe if you knew what a contributing factor was to that accident. Like the guy in the Cowboys. He was drunk. So you know that the accident occurred possibly because he was intoxicated. So he could probably serve a little bit more time than someone like
certainly
J.R. Smith.
More time, yeah. But I still don't know how much is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't know the timing either. But
yeah, because again, he still didn't mean it. You know what I mean? And that, to me, that's huge. It's huge if you meant it, if you didn't mean it. Because sometimes shit happens in life, and sometimes shit happens in the worst ways possible, and you might get locked up as a result of some shit happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So for stuff, I've never had an answer on manslaughter. I've always been 50-50 on manslaughter. I don't know. I mean, obviously, like, if I'm on a jury, obviously I just go by what the letter of the law is if I'm on a jury, because I'm not going to change the system from the bench on that particular issue. Yeah, you know what I mean? But if I was crafting a society, I wouldn't know on manslaughter. Yeah. Murder, I think, is much easier. Murder is, everybody kind of agrees. You intended to kill the person. Yeah. You're not allowed to do that. You're getting locked up for a very long time. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, murder.
Manslaughter is like...
Manslaughter's tough.
Dude, I feel bad for you, kind of. Like, you killed your friend. You didn't mean to kill your friend. Fuck. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to do? Some people will say give him 10 years. Other people say give him no time at all. He gets it. It's fucked up. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one.
Manslaughter's crazy.
All right, so we covered those things right there. I'm thinking out loud here, guys. So the other day, the AMAs, I'll give you the option here, man. You want to talk about the AMAs? They were on...
I watched a little.
So you watched a little of that. We can talk about that. Then I also have... I saw a movie that was so good it was bad. That doesn't make any sense, right?
It doesn't make any sense. I want to hear what movie it is because I saw a couple movies
and
recently.
Then also, I wanted to talk a little bit about Malcolm X because I was watching some of his speeches recently.
I want to hear about the movie first.
Okay, you want to hear about the movie?
Yeah, what movie?
So, it's a movie called The Impossible. I think it came out in 2012. It's about a tidal wave that hit, I think it was Thailand or some place like that. It was based on a true story, I think, or somewhat based on a true story. Yeah. I think they might have changed the location of the place, though, but I could be wrong. But it was Naomi Watts and Ewan McGregor.
Like a big time movie, like it was in theaters.
I never heard about it. I never saw anything about it. But it seemed like it was pretty big time because Naomi Watts was in it. She's big, and Ewan McGregor was in it, or Ewan McGregor. I don't know how to say his name. Ewan. I don't know.
Imagine they had to pronounce it like that every time.
Ewan McGregor, whatever. Oh. So he was in it too, and then so it was so good that it was bad. So what do I mean by that? Because that sounds like it's contradictory, right?
So good, it was okay.
So here's what I mean. It had me sucked into it so much, and it was so suspenseful that there were 2 or 3 different occasions where I was like, I'm going to change the channel. I have to change the channel
all the time
because it was so much suspense and so much drama that like I'm sitting there like I need to just check out of this situation completely. Really? Let me change the channel because it's just I can't take it. I need to change it. I can't continue to watch this. Now I stayed with it, but those moments of doubt were real.
That's usually what people live for in a movie is like all that suspense and all that drama.
See, you made such a good point there because that's what I was going to get to eventually, which is maybe I'm weird. I don't know. But I'm not sure I like emotional roller coasters in movies.
Really?
Yeah, because
you just want like a just a perfect fly through movie?
No, but see, that's the thing. I don't know what I like out of a movie, which is why I'd be such a terrible movie critic. Because there are movies that I've seen that everybody else hates, but I love, and vice versa. Movies everybody else loves that I hate, and some I'm in line with majority people or the critics. But I don't have a particular criteria for here's what I need in a movie to like it. It just needs to catch me based on no objective standards whatsoever.
I was going to try and find a movie that I know you love, like Training Day, and try and like see what goes on in that movie to try and base it off of possibly like
but you can't do it
because there's some suspense in Training. I mean, like
sure, there's some absolutely.
He's in the bathtub.
That's like I wouldn't even. I mean. It's a good movie, but I don't know. There's no format or formula in that movie that you can replicate in other movies to make it good. That movie's uniquely its own. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what I need. I need something that just strikes something where I just go, that's good. And again, I don't have any criteria for it. And I don't know if that's weird or not weird or whatever, and that's why oftentimes I disagree with people vehemently on hey, I like that movie, hey, I didn't like that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I honestly, this is one of those things where some people who listen to the show, they probably like my stuff on politics or whatever. So they're like, oh, I trust Kyle's opinion on movies. Don't. You shouldn't, because I don't trust my opinions on movies. Like when I see a movie, if I like it, like I'll know that I'm embarrassed that I like it, but I like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those things. So yeah, I didn't. There was so much suspense that it made me want to change the channel. It was so good that it was bad, and I'm not sure I like the emotional roller coaster. Now, in that movie, spoiler alert, okay, for everybody, spoiler alert, it ends up working out. Like, it works out in the end, but there's so gigantic chunks in the middle where you're like, this is fucked. It's fucked. This is fucked. I'm about to cry. This is terrible. I can't believe this is happening. How did they make the movie go down this road?
So if it ended badly, would you have been mad at the movie?
See, and this gets even weirder now because, again, great point you make, man. So, for this particular movie, yes. For this particular movie, yes. But there are other movies where I like it when it goes bad because of how it went bad.
Okay.
Like, I'll give you an example. Again, spoiler alert, but this has been out for a while. Shutter Island.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Shutter Island.
Yeah. I know I'm giving spoiler. Spoiler alert, this came out in 1965. No. So why? Why for Shutter Island? Because it fit the plot so perfectly that he was crazy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it fit the plot so well.
That's
so that was a
good point.
womp, 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 womp at the ending for some people. But for me, I was like, no, perfect. That's exactly how it should go. I like it. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
But then this one, if it had ended bad, I would have been like, I'm never watching another movie ever again in my life because that shouldn't have fucking ended like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which brings me back to my point of there's no criteria for liking movies. I don't have a criteria. It's just I like it. I don't like it. And also, here's another thing. I'm massively biased, I think, when liking movies or not liking movies as to what my feelings are already going into the movie. Like, if I'm in a good mood going into the movie, I'm probably going to, there's a better chance I like it.
Point. I was just talking about this with someone the other day, and I'm going to quickly just change the subject. That's like when you go see a comedian or you go see anybody you really, really, really love, and you go into that like comedy show like, this guy's going to be the funniest guy in the world. And you go in there and he completely bombs, but you're still laughing. And you leave and you're like, that was the best show ever. And then someone else goes and you're like, yo, that wasn't funny at all. Every joke was like a dud. He's like, no, but it was Aziz Ansari. It was Louis C.K. That shit was mad funny.
Yep.
So, like you say, if you go into a movie expecting
we all have a bias,
it to be hilarious because it's what is it, Anchorman 2 or Dumb and Dumber 2, movies and stuff can be bad a second time around. You can't go into everything with that. Like,
we're not. The point is this: we are not a blank slate. We're not like a fucking thing of clay that we go in there and whatever happens, you could perfectly mold the movie to our mindset. If I go into a movie, I'm in a good mood. Oh, it could have been. It's a great movie, but no, I was just in a good mood. So if I saw anything there, it would have been okay, and vice versa. If I'm in a bad mood, I go into a movie, and it could have been the greatest movie ever, but I was in such a shitty mood that I'm like, fuck this movie. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard, and that's why you got to be very careful when like people have favorites in movie critics and stuff. It's like, how can you do that? Because it's people pretending to
hate movie critics.
It's people pretending to be objective about a field where there's no objectivity.
Yeah,
like it's all subjective movies, you know.
Yeah. Well, I read there's on movies.com. There's this guy Dave, and I always look what he judges a movie at, and it's like a comedy. He'll always give it bad ratings. I'm like,
you just don't like comedies.
Sense of humor that I have.
Right. Exactly.
I go into a movie, and if they're talking about like dog shit like on someone's face and all this stuff, I'm like hysterically laughing, whereas he could just be like,
oh, this is so lowbrow, I don't like this, please.
Like fuck movie critics,
right?
They have an awesome job because they can go watch a movie and they're getting like, they could say whatever the hell they want, and they're still getting paid. They don't have any bosses, like, because what? That was my opinion. You're paying me on my opinion.
So you by the way, you should watch that movie if you haven't seen it, man.
What was it again?
I'm very curious what you would think about it. It's called The Impossible.
The Impossible, all right.
You got to watch that, and then you got to tell me what you think. I see. I already kind of ruined it for you because I told you the ending. Yeah,
part, I'm like,
but it's one of those movies where even in the middle, even though you know it's going to be a happy ending,
still like,
you're going to be like, this is going to end bad, because you can't help it. You just
imagine like the ending changes. They play it on a different channel, and like everything was fucked up.
Alternate ending at the ending. Oh my god.
Yo, this. I hit you. I'm like, yo, I thought that shit was happy. Like everybody died, and like. The movie, even the producer, the guy filming the movie died.
The director died in the credits. All right, so let's squeeze in a few more here before you go. I know you got to go soon, but the AMAs. Okay, so the AMAs were this past week. Now, on the one hand, I love them because just in general, award shows, not even just award shows, but entertainment, movies, music, etc. On the one hand, I love all that stuff because to me, from a political perspective, they represent freedom and creativity and expression.
Yeah.
And I'm in favor of all those things across the board, no matter what, as a matter of principle. But on the other hand, I fucking hate those things because...
Yeah, I feel like you wouldn't like
that. Yeah, and here's the reason why. Secretly, I'm a curmudgeonly old man. And, like, I hate everything, and I look at them and I'm like, man, damn kids, you're so vapid.
Yeah.
And, like, just to give one example of what I saw that pissed me off, I think it was on BuzzFeed. There was an article showing, like, the things you missed at the AMAs, because I watched, like, 5 minutes of it. I couldn't take it.
Yeah, I watched, like, 20.
So... one of the pictures was the Kardashians' younger sisters taking a selfie with somebody. I forget who the person was. But, like, I looked at them. I looked at the picture. I looked at their faces. I'm just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Now, why am I saying that? Because look, they were raised in that environment, so they can't fucking help it. But you know what? Here's what they are. I'm sorry, guys. Pampered little pricks is what they are.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about anything else going on in the world that's serious, that other people experiencing poverty, hunger, disease, all these things. Like, you think that when they look at Ferguson, Missouri, they have any clue what the fuck's going on. They look at it and they go, oh, why are people...
And it's so sad because they have, like, almost a higher platform than, like, the fucking president.
Exactly.
And
you could do so much good if you just gave a shit.
Seriously.
But no, all you care about is consumerism and materialism and status.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, stop and think about it. Like, yeah, they're famous. Great. Okay. What's that going to mean? What does it mean to be one of the Kardashians' younger sisters in 150 years from now? What does it mean? You're dead and nobody gives a flying fuck about you.
Yep.
Okay? But you know how you could transcend that? If you gave a fuck about some things that help other people and you do charity and you use your platform for good, then all of a sudden you go down in the history books as the person who took celebrity culture and molded it into purely caring about, people who are downtrodden or whatever.
Yeah.
There's something about, again, I like the idea of music and entertainment and music and all that stuff. Because, again, it's a matter of freedom, and I'd rather have that than not have that. Because if you don't have that, it's usually a sign you're living in a North Korea-like place. You know what I mean? It's usually a sign that there's some sort of political repression. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, when I look at that, I see all of the negative things as well that other philosophers have warned about. Like, if you give people this certain amount of social freedom, that... they'll embrace these hedonistic, you know what I mean? Like materialism, consumerism. Yeah, I'm so special. I'm so whatever. I'm so fancy.
I'm so fancy.
And part of me hates it. I'm curious. When you look at pop culture, what do you like it? Do you hate it? Or do you have mixed feelings like me?
Mixed feelings. I like some people I'm just tired of. Like anybody makes like a popular catchy song now and they're just fucking glorified. Like what happened to the Gangnam Style guy? He made like the world's most famous song and like he was the shit. Everybody was doing his dance and now it's just like the guy, like what happened to him? You know, like,
yeah.
So it's like these people get so glorified and they're so famous and so popular it's like they have their 15 minutes of fame and then they disappear. So it's like for that guy, he could have capitalized on his fame right there and like done some positive shit in that moment and been famous forever if he did something positive.
Right.
Whereas like someone like Iggy Azalea comes up and makes a popular song and she'll fade away in like a year or two either. So it's like I'm mixed on it also because it's like you could turn a regular person into someone so fucking famous and it's fascinating to watch, but it's also fascinating to just see like, I don't know. The people who do it for the craft themselves, I like those people.
Like the people, like somebody who is like a real career musician, a real career actor, people who you can tell really love just doing the thing, and it's almost like the fame and the money is just a byproduct of them doing what they love. Those people I respect, I admire, and I like them. But the people who you get this sense that the goal from the beginning was to get famous. The goal from the beginning was to be known. It's like you're not coming into this with pure intentions because you don't care about the art itself. You just care about the byproduct of what the art's going to bring.
That's a great point.
You know what I mean? So when you look at somebody, Iggy Azalea is a perfect example to me. It's like, no, you just kind of came up with this cookie cutter mold of like how to act and how to sing and how to shake your ass.
Such a great point.
And now it's like, oh, you're famous. Great.
And that's the difference between, I feel like, old school and new school, like, you know, actors and
that's a good point too. Yeah, old school versus new school.
You look at old, like, not old, but like, I'm sure all actors.
I think Denzel's a good example of somebody who gives a shit about the craft, about acting.
If you look at his resume, like, he went to, like, I think, like a acting school.
Yeah,
and, you know, like,
and he always said, I could do Julius Caesar one day and Training Day the next day. That's the mark of a real actor.
Yeah.
Whereas other actors, I think it's more in music, actually, to be honest, the people who just become this mold of what's going to sell right now.
Yeah.
It's like, well, fuck you, kind of, because you just want to get the adulation without really giving a shit about putting in the work for a craft. You know what I mean? Which is why you see so many one-hit wonders. See, again,
but I mean, then there's a dude like Justin Bieber who, even since he was young, he was trying to break into the industry.
Yeah, he was kind of raised into the culture of being a celebrity.
But he was passionate about his music and shit. I don't know if that was forced by his parents or what, because he still was growing up in an age when, like...
Yeah, he's very impressionable when he was very young.
So with him, and now it's just he's completely off the wall.
Yeah, he's an interesting case, too, because I think that he's kind of going through the same thing that a lot of other child stars go through, where...
But I don't think you can judge anybody off of, like, recently. You know, you got to take maybe, like, a 30-year-old person and start it there.
Yeah, it's hard. And look, a lot of those guys, unfortunately, die. Like, a lot of the child stars, they get into drugs too heavy, and there's nobody there to really give them any kind of direction whatsoever, so they just fucking... As Joe Rogan says, they ride that bitch into the rocks. Like, just they're on the boat of life, and they're just like, fuck it, just crash this bitch into the beach, and whatever happens, happens. It's a scary thing. It's a sad thing. And Justin's an interesting case because, like I said, like I know him. Justin's an interesting case. I talked to him on Wednesday. Because he's a little bit of both of those worlds, right? He's a little bit of the world that he really cares or cared about the art because he grew up in it and he was socialized for that. And like he used to have YouTube videos when he was like 5,
actually
singing
playing the guitar
In Sync or the Backstreet Boys. Yeah, so he cared about it. But I think as time got by, it's almost like the industry got a hold of him and their tentacles, and they were like, no, you need to be more poppy and go in this direction or whatever. And I'm speculating here to be clear, but he's interesting. He's a mix of both worlds. He's a mix of somebody who really cared, right? So like this Denzel approach to acting, I love acting. It's great. I just want to do it nonstop. But then also he kind of got corrupted by the industry and the vapid nature of it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I guess if you're young enough to still get like conform to the industry, like you got to be careful of where.
Yeah, you have to make a decision at some point when you're whatever age and then have that become your passion. And your passion should develop before you get big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then you don't want to do it and get the adulation and think I don't need to work for it anymore. A guy like Denzel could have done some not so great movies when he was like in the 80s or 90s. Yeah, like, for Queen and Country I saw was one where he pretended to have
Jim
a British
Carrey,
accent.
I saw he was in a random ass movie that I was like, Jim Carrey's in this movie? Like
those are guys that paid their dues.
Exactly.
They paid their dues, they busted their ass, they weren't famous when they did it, so they appreciate their hard work, and then when they get it, they get the money and the fame. They go, well, look, this is only a byproduct of how hard I worked and how much I love my craft.
That's so true. That's like you with the show, man. I mean, like...
Well, thank you. I mean, that's flattering because I'm just a douchebag who talks.
I just have a question. Well, the two I saw Joe Rogan has like a new TV show coming out. Did you see it? It was...
no, what's this one?
I think I was watching Key and Peele, and it's on Comedy Central. He's got like a new show. He's like the host of or something.
The stand-up special he did? I saw the stand-up special.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
He's going around.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Yeah, look,
funny?
he's a smart, like he's one of those guys who's much smarter than anybody gives him credit for.
Yeah,
because he's a dude, he's big into UFC, and he was the Fear Factor guy. So everybody's like, oh, whatever, he's Joe Rogan.
Seems like a good dude. Like he's passionate about a lot of things, and he knows about the shit he's passionate.
There was an article about him that was talking about how he's like a Renaissance man, how he has all these different things that he loves, and it was just going through them, and it was amazing. The list was ridiculously long, where he'll find something he likes, be obsessed with it, get really good at it, and then find something else he likes and go through the motions. But he continues to like all those things, and he continues to do those things. So it's like, oh, wow, you're living a full life. Like, you like these things, you're passionate about them, you're doing them, and then you get to talk about it with the world and get other people interested.
Yeah, he seems like he's really living.
Yeah, no, he's a real good dude. I'm still waiting to get fucking approval to get on his podcast, man.
When you do, man, that would be, you're gonna, and
I'm sure eventually I will.
That's going to be dope, man.
Supposedly, though, I spoke about this the other day. He's kind of like Russell Brandish in how he does his podcast. And what I mean by that is,
all over the place.
Yeah, all over the place, spur of the moment. Like, he'll be like, all right, this week you're coming on. And he'll say, and his producers will be like, what? They'll call the person, okay, can you come on this day? This is the only day Joe wants to do it. Well, I'm in New York. He's in California.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
not
getting
really.
out
like,
there wise,
if he were to say, be here this week, no, I can't really do it. But if he if you were to say in whatever date a month from now. But that's the thing. I don't think he does that schedules for like a month from now. Like Cenk was supposed to go on his show, and he did eventually go on his show, but it took a while before he went on. Like, they both spoke about it, and then it was a while before he went on. And I always thought it's because Cenk was so busy with the show and everything that he didn't have time to go on Joe's show, really.
Yeah.
But it turns out that wasn't the case. It was the opposite.
Oh, really?
How Joe was like, he just didn't, for the longest time, he was just slow with having all the guests on. And then out of the blue one day, months later, he's like, all right, Cenk, you're coming on. And Cenk's like, what? Oh, okay, I guess I'm coming on.
Yeah.
So he's weird in that sense. But yeah, no, he's a cool guy.
Now, do they have any award shows for like internet type of shit? Like
they do, but I've made a conscious decision from early on not to give a shit about them.
Really?
Yeah, because
like, what if you want like fresh new like voice or some shit?
I'll tell you why I don't give a shit about it, because what I think I think the internet is a true free market, especially YouTube. I think it's a true free market where the best product wins. So if you put out a good product, people are gonna fucking watch. Word of mouth will spread. I have an advertising budget of $0.00, but somehow I got 3 million people a month to watch me as of this point. 67,000 subscribers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great, and I think that, to me, that's my key, my barometer for success, if you will. Like, number one, actually, I'm lying, because number one is, like we were discussing earlier, just the art form itself. So reading everything, knowing everything, presenting a good show. Like that's, and if I have that on point, everything else falls in order. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I focus on that, I do that, and then I think the best barometer of success after that is just the numbers on YouTube. So right now, I've oscillated between number 15 and number 20 on the Social Blade rankings of top YouTube channels for news and politics. I'm between number 15 and number 20. I keep going back and forth. So my goal is to keep doing my show, let my numbers increase drastically. Cenk's already told me, Steve-O has already told me from the Young Turks, the CFO, like, okay, your numbers are absurd. Like, we've never seen anybody grow at the rate you're growing.
Yeah.
David Pakman, who I love, he's the man, but long ago I surpassed his growth. Like, he hit a ceiling at some point, and then it kind of leveled off. They keep telling me, Aaron, who's another guy, TYT, keeps telling me, he's the social media guy, dude, you're going to top out at some point. Don't expect this growth to continue. And I'm just not accepting that. I'm just, okay, let me just fucking fuck that.
Talking for itself.
Right. I said, fuck that. Let me punch through this glass ceiling above my head. So that's all I care about. Let my numbers rise, because the product, the quality of the product of what I'm doing is good. So all I care about is the YouTube numbers and the Social Blade rankings. That's it. So if anything else, if they want to give me anything else, I'll take it. Yeah. If they want to give me something else, hey man, here, best new political whatever. Okay, great. I think they have the Webbies and the Streamies or some shit. They're all the awards. But look, that's secondary to me. I don't care about that, because
that's dope that you had that mindset.
Because you know what it is, the goodness of the show is in the eye of the viewer. Like, I know if I'm doing a good job. When I see on my phone, I could see on Twitter when somebody likes a video, if they have their YouTube account hooked up to their Twitter account, it'll say, this person liked this video. And there's plenty of people, every day they watch every video I put out. And I go, okay, I'm doing something right because these people are watching it. They're not watching it because, they're being charitable to me. They're watching it because they like it. They think they're getting something out of it. So as long as people keep listening like that,
that's your
and as long as I keep focusing on what I think is my art, which is doing the show, then everything will fall into place and everything is good. The other stuff is secondary. Like, they talk about I don't know whether it's the Oscars or whatever, that people have to campaign to win. And I always thought, like, that is the most demeaning fucking thing ever, because these are people who their job is supposed to be, like, the Denzel approach, the craft of acting, or the craft, whatever it is for the Oscars,
let me just make
Emmys, whatever.
Dope movie. And whatever comes with it, comes with it.
And then it's like they go after, it's like, okay, great, you made a good movie. Now you have to go to all these places and shake the elite hands and tell them, that was your kids. Blah, blah, blah. Fuck you. That's not what I signed up for, bitch.
Yeah.
I don't like anything that gets in the way of what the actual thing itself is.
Nah, it's a good point, and that's a good mentality to have.
All right, let me squeeze in one more, because I know you got to go soon.
Yeah.
Just real quick, let's talk about Malcolm X. So, Malcolm X, in this little break I had, I watched like a bunch of Malcolm X speeches. I watched a PBS documentary on Malcolm X. I was really interested in that, in him and in his philosophy and in his mindset and everything. And first of all, point number one, my God, did Denzel Washington put on maybe the best performance ever when he did Malcolm X. Because you look at the Malcolm X speeches and you look at how Denzel did Malcolm X, it's almost the same person.
Really?
Like, it's amazing how well he did it. It was so fucking good. I had seen the movie Malcolm X before I had ever seen speeches of Malcolm X. But after looking at the speeches, I'm like, oh my God, Denzel just absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
So...
And he's buried right here in Westchester, Malcolm X.
Is he buried in Westchester? Yeah. I know that he was killed in,
no,
I think it's Harlem or the Bronx or something.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he's buried in the Ardsley, the cemeteries in Ardsley.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing about him. Now, before he took the Hajj to Mecca, which is, of course, he's Muslim, and that's his beliefs, and there was a time later on in his life when everything kind of went to shit that he was like, I'm taking the Hajj.
Mm-hmm.
So he took the Hajj, and when he came back, he became much more like Martin Luther King Jr. in the sense that he believed more in nonviolence. He believed it was possible for white people and black people to live together and to like each other and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's what he witnessed when he went on the Hajj, that there were people of all different races and stuff together. But before he went on the Hajj, I don't think there's any doubt about it. Like, he hated all white people.
Mm-hmm.
He was vehemently anti-white. Now, here's the aspect that might surprise some people, and people might disagree with me. I don't really blame him.
Could you blame him back? That was when there was slavery, and that was when there was colors only and whites only.
Well, it was post-slavery, but it was during segregation and during Jim Crow and during open systems of discrimination and all that stuff in the South. But even in the North, it wasn't good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it was better, but it wasn't good. So given that context and given that everything that was going on at that time, I can't blame anybody who was, part of the Nation of Islam and believed, he called white people the white devil. The white devil is responsible for keeping us down. The white devil literally destroyed our history with slavery. We don't even know what our real last names are because after a while we get the last names of our slave masters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm listening to this stuff and I'm like, fuck, he's right, man. He's right.
But does anybody criticize him for it?
Back then, absolutely. Back then, he was viewed as so fucking radical that it was no, but even today, there are people who, would look back and that was anti-white, that's flipping the discrimination. And to be clear, it was flipping the discrimination. He was a black supremacist, essentially. Mm-hmm. That is what he was. And this leads to the bigger point here and why I wanted to discuss that. That's what's so terrible about racism. That's what's so... It's such a destructive force for that reason, because you've now made it logical for him to respond like that, for black people to feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
If there was no white racism and whites didn't enslave black people and there was no discrimination and there was no Jim Crow and we were all just open and happy from the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Malcolm X would not have had those beliefs. He wouldn't have had those beliefs if there wasn't a gigantic grain of truth in what he was saying. So, and they did a thing about this in the 1960s or some shit. What's his face? Mike Wallace. They did a special called "The Hate That Hate Caused" or something like that.
I didn't know.
And what it was about is because of white supremacists, because of the KKK, because of segregation, because of discrimination, because of Jim Crow, that led to the equal and opposite reaction of black supremacy and hatred towards white people and this anti-white mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the hate that hate produced. And that's totally true. And again, the main point is you can't blame them given the context and the perspective and what was happening in history at that point. So that's one of the biggest problems with racism that nobody talks about, is that you've now made it logical for people to respond in that way. In a vacuum, that would be a stupid thing to say, that black people are superior and that white people are the devil. In a vacuum, that's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But given the context and the perspective, it makes sense. Because okay, no, they are really discriminating against everybody and they believe in Jim Crow and they hate us all.
Yeah.
So my conclusion on Malcolm X is that I think he was rational in a step-by-step perspective. Obviously, I disagree with him on the idea of Islam being true. Elijah Muhammad was a fraud. That's, the person who was the prophet, part of the Nation of Islam, right? Mm-hmm. Who was the leader who he followed. And I disagree. He was actually very socially conservative in many respects. He didn't want anybody to gamble or drink or this or that because he viewed that as hurting the black community. But still, overall, I can't blame him for the original beliefs of white people being terrible and inferior back then. But I am happy that later on, after the Hajj, he realized that it's more the case that Martin Luther King was kind of right from the beginning. Because the argument Martin Luther King made was you can't fight injustice with injustice. You can't just flip the repression. You can't just flip the discrimination. You can't just be as bad as the white people were when they had the majority control. You just want to be like the opposite of them.
Yeah.
His argument was you can't do that. In order to be morally correct from the beginning, and to be a just person from the beginning, you need to be above that. You need to say, no, go ahead. You want to hit me? Hit me. Hit one side of my face. I'll show you the other side. Hit that too. Mm-hmm. So his idea was the real Jesus idea. And what happened is after a while...
peaceful protest, all that shit.
Right. What happened is after a while, you win the hearts and minds of liberal white people in that when you do that. So that liberal white people who have more control of the system than a disenfranchised black person does, they go, oh, these guys are right. We got to do something about this. Mm-hmm. And then action is taken collectively between the civil rights movement, the peaceful protests, et cetera, et cetera. It is true also, though, I think, that you needed the threat of a Malcolm X and the Nation of Islam in order to make the peaceful movement, to give it more teeth and to give it more backing, yeah. Because then people go, well, if we don't listen to Martin Luther King and do what he's saying, then we might have to deal with Malcolm X and what the Nation of Islam is saying, and that's fucking scarier because they'll pick up some guns.
Yeah.
And they're not fucking around.
Is that similar to like the Black Panthers type of thing? I mean,
right. I mean, that's the Black Panthers came out of, the Malcolm X mindset, the Nation of Islam, Black Pride, yada yada. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, man, it's true that a lot of the things he said were too extreme originally, but in the context of the time, it made sense. So today, I'm happy that that he took the Hajj, and I'm happy that he became more like Martin Luther King. But at the time when Malcolm X was Malcolm X and he was like vehemently anti-white, at the time that made sense, and you couldn't really, get mad at him for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So anyway, that's my whole thing on Malcolm X. I know you got somewhere to go, so we're out of time. I wonder how long we did this for. Oh, an hour and 10 minutes. We did a pretty good job. All right. Love you guys. Back tomorrow with the regular show.
You feeling refreshed now with that break?
90%.
Nice.
Probably by tomorrow it'll be 100%.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting back on the air. All right, guys. Love you. Kisses, smooches. We will see you tomorrow. Peace.